everyone, I'm Kristen, the cross-stitching runner, and welcome to my channel. I want to say a big hello and welcome to all new and returning subscribers. And if by chance you've stumbled across this channel is all about cross-stitch with a bit of life stuff thrown into it. This particular episode is going to be just a slightly different one compared to most of my episodes, partly because I'm actually recording from a different location. So today I'm down at Malure Bay, which is part of the traditional owners of Australia, known as the Ewan land. So I have a very different setup in front of me in terms of my computer setup and how I normally have my whips in front of me that I'd like to share with you. And I'm also using a slightly different program to record this Flosstube episode. And the interesting thing is that I have a limit of 30 minutes. So if by chance you are a returning viewer, you'll notice that most of my episodes typically go for an hour. I think some of the shortest episodes I've done have been around 45 minutes. So I have a new challenge to try and keep to, and let's see if I can make it. And I hope I don't talk too fast, though talking too fast could potentially be a good thing for this particular episode and hopefully future ones as well. Okay, so the first thing that I'd really love to share with you, because I'm super excited about it because of how well it turned out, is a project bag that I've made for my best friend. She is going to be having a birthday in October, and I just wanted to get as organised as I practically could to have a present for her organised, so I don't do a mad scramble as the days get closer to her birthday. Now, my friend, aside from her being my best mate, and I've known her since high school, she loves dogs. And so this is the main reason why I've done this particular project bag. So this is the back of it. And I've also got it lined on the inside as well. And the other thing as well is that she also loves the colour yellow. And I also thought that the colour yellow just goes so beautifully with a lot of the colours that we see here in the fabrics that I've chosen. So this is the inside lining. And what I'm loving with this bag, because I have tried my hand at making a few different styles of project bags, is I'll do my best to do measurements and cut my fabric out to the sizings that I need it to, and I'll be able to follow a plan to some degree with assembling some of the panels and trying to attach it to the zipper, and then something will fall apart in the sense that I'll stop following the instructions to a T, or I'll have accidentally misread some of my measurements and not cut myself a large enough amount of fabric to do what I want. And I did measure things a little bit, in the sense that this is a 40 centimetre long or a 16-inch long zipper, and I guess the fabrics, I haven't actually measured out otherwise. All I did was lay the fabrics out in front of me and just see if they did measure up to being just a little bit wider than the zipper, because I needed to allow for like seam allowance and that kind of thing. For a lot of the assembly with the sewing and that kind of thing with the machine stitching, I wanted to have I guess a centimetre or half a centimetre seam allowance. I'm not sure how much that is in inches or anything like that. And with the way I've done the edges for here, is because this fabric was so significantly wider than the front panels. We're talking I guess 10 centimeters, or how much that equates to roughly maybe half an inch, or maybe an inch in some sections or some areas. And I knew that I wanted to have the back panel fabric fold over at least a couple of times to create a really nice neat edge. And there is a little bit of a hiccup with some of the stitching because of the tension that I had on my sewing machine. But overall, I'm really happy with how it turned out, because my friend and I, we aren't quite fly by the seat of the pants kind of thing, but we're a bit more relaxed about how perfect things are. My friend, she really loves trying her hand at different things, and just as a curiosity of seeing how things turn out. And I'll do that a little bit, but I'll be a little bit more reserved with how I go about it. And I'm trying to relax a bit more with how I approach things, because historically my brain has been worried, going, but what if you muck up? You've wasted your time, you've wasted some fabric in that. But I have to remind myself that it's all part of the learning process, and to enjoy the journey. And the fact that I've made mistakes means that I can learn from them to then, I guess in this case, create a really beautiful bag that I'm really proud of, and proud to give to my friend. So she's also my mate who I catch up with on hopefully a regular basis for cross stitch as well. So we've intermittently caught up over time to do cross stitch, because life happens. For a long time there, we were doing a weekly catch up and alternating as to whose place we go to. So again, life sort of gets in the way, especially with this global health crisis that seems to be coming in peaks and troughs. So we're now just doing a monthly catch up because of life stuff, not just to do with health, but also just making the most of weather and that. Because I'm going on a slight tangent, and I will be very quick on this tangent. Down here at the coast, down at Mallow Bay, the weather has just been awesome and amazing and beautiful. So the bedroom that I'm actually recording this from, it's north facing, and it's a bit of a partly cloudy day, but we've got mostly blue sky at the moment, and it's got this beautiful sun coming in. And as I'm looking above the camera for recording this episode, it's just a really beautiful day. I can see suburbs, of course, we can see houses, that kind of thing. If I remember, I'll try and include some photos, and yeah, it'll make a bit more sense. But we've got lots of gum trees and all the rest around here. It means we get to see and hear a lot of brilliant wildlife that we have here in Australia. So we have a lot of kookaburras. We've got what else do we have? We've got rosellas, a few different types of rosellas, a few different types of parrots, and we do have some cockatoos and galahs and corellas as well. And you can always sort of tell what time of day it is because of the wildlife and what they're doing. We do have some magpies around as well, and I'm hoping that we've made some friends with the magpies that are in this area, because we are coming up to spring here in Australia. We're coming to the tail end of winter, and the Australian magpies are known to swoop. They are quite territorial, and they'll swoop to protect their nests. And I really hope the magpies around here do not see me and everyone else in this suburb as a threat, because it's not nice to get swooped by those birds. So let's get back to cross stitch though, because that's why we're here. Thank you for bearing with me. So the next lot of things that I have to share with you are all based upon a stitching challenge that I've set for myself for a good part of this year. And this particular weekend that we're in, it is the last weekend of the Australian Football League, or the AFL, regular football season. So this particular challenge I've been doing has been based upon the AFL season for this year, and there are 23 weeks within the regular season. And I think after this particular weekend, there will be roughly a weekend where there won't be any football. Then we're going to get into finals. So there's going to be, I think, semi-finals, or quarterfinal, semi-final, then the grand final. So this is where this first project I have to share with you is a project that I started a really long time ago. This is called Water Tiger 2. Because of the different setup that I've got today, I don't have the cover page or anything for this project. It is a custom crafts project. I think the design or illustration is by Diane Allaire. I'll put as much detail as I can about all of the projects that I share with you in the description box. Alternatively, go back and have a look at some of my earlier Flosstube episodes, and you'll be able to see the cover pages for those projects, and you'll be able to start to see some of the progress that I've made with a lot of these projects. So with this particular project, I have put in 100, or I still need to put a little bit more, but I need to put in 128 stitches into this. So I've been working mostly over on the side here just to fill in a fair bit. And this particular project, I'm using all of the called for colours. They're all DMC threads, and pardon me, I'm using 2 strands over 1 fabric thread, 1 fabric square, and I believe this is roughly 18 count, perhaps even 20 count. It could be even weave. I've had this particular fabric in my stash for a very long time, so we would be looking at perhaps 15 years or so. I've had this fabric in my collection. I do remember getting it from an Australian store called, I think it's the Victorian Needle House. It's the needlework store that is up in Mittagong in New South Wales, and it's been a few years since I've been up there, and I think I'm probably overdue for doing a day trip up there, because they have some beautiful stuff up there. So this particular project is connected to the Richmond Tigers, which are one of the teams in the AFL fixture, and the team actually has been doing pretty well this season. So if everything balances out this weekend, they could finish in the top 8, which means that all of the teams that finish in the top 8 this year, they then have a chance to make it to the grand final. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Cool. So the next project I have to share with you is a kit that is a dimensions kit, and it is called Barnyard Kittens. And I'm loving how this project has come together. I initially started this project as a Stitch Mania piece, and I think it then became Stitch Mania back in 2019, and I think I might have set it aside for a little bit, and then it became part of my Whip Go last year, and yeah, it got a little bit more work done, but the fact that I've included this as part of my AFL challenge, this particular project has been connected to a team called the Geelong Cats. So this is why I'm working on Barnyard Cats, and this particular project has been working on quite a bit of here. And so with any dimensions kits, if you as a viewer have worked on any, you'll know that it's got a combination of full cross and half stitches. And especially with the half stitches, it can be a variety of thread thickness. So it can be something as simple as just one strand for a half stitch, or it could be ranging right up to 4 strands, well, at least for the kits that I've used for dimensions. And in terms of the Geelong Cats, for the last couple of rounds, I've put 119 stitches into this. And with this particular project, I'm not being particular about whether they are half stitches or full crosses. I'm not being that strict. It's just purely 119 stitches. And it's been working out pretty good so far. I've definitely noticed some really good progress in this. So hopefully next year I'll do the challenge again, and I'll be able to include this project in the challenge. And depending on how the Geelong Cats go, I might end up being able to complete. Actually, I probably won't complete it because of, I guess, how many points the team may potentially score and all that fun stuff. So we'll get there. It'll be all right. The next project I have to share with you is one of my own designs. It is a hot cross stitching design. So for any new subscribers or anyone who's stumbled across this channel, I have a side hustle called hot cross stitching, and I have quite a few patterns up on my website that are based upon photos that I've taken and converted into cross stitch patterns. And then there are a small handful of patterns, some of which are free, that are just purely my own design, where it'll be like there's a mini biscornu that's based upon I guess my own interpretation of one of the Australian wattle flowers. And then there's also some other free designs where they're based upon some patterns of a lantern that I have in my backyard, or another one that you'll actually see fairly soon. That's a quote that that I tend to regularly tell myself, where it's called, "I count my lucky stars every day that you are in my life." And it's got this really pretty border that will happen around it, that is based upon a scrapbooking die cut. So with all of that background in mind, this next project is one of my own designs. I'll just go to stand back just a little bit more, because the further back I stand, you'll start to see it just a little bit more. So this is called Black and White Rolled Up Daisy, and it's based upon a black and white photo that I've taken of a flower that is actually here in the garden of this house that I'm staying in at the moment. And with this particular project, you can start to see that some of the petals are curling up a little bit, and I'm really, really keen to put a whole heap more work into this one once the AFL season has finished. So this particular project is connected to an AFL team called the Adelaide Crows. Here in Australia, we have a black bird called a crow, and it is just completely black. And I guess for obvious reasons, this is why I've attributed the Adelaide Crows to this particular project. And I'm falling in love with this project, especially as I look at it on the computer screen. It looks really good. I really do love it. So the next project, actually, I didn't say how many stitches I put into it. I've got notes in front of me, and the Adelaide Crows, they have won their last 2 games, and I've added up the scores from those 2 games, and the total amount of stitches I've put into this project is 205 stitches. And as long as the Adelaide Crows keep winning their games, especially next year, I'll be able to put a lot more work into that project. And with that in mind, one project I have been able to put a bucket load of work into is a project called Fight Like a Girl. So this particular pattern is by Tanya, Amity. It is a project that I think I purchased off Etsy, and it was a PDF download. And this particular project, this is as wide as it's going to get. I'm stitching this on 18 count navy blue Ada, and I just want to quickly note that with the black and white rolled up daisy, I'm stitching it on 18 count black and white Ada, and I'm stitching it all in DMC threads, two threads over 1 fabric square. And it's the same thing for this project as well, where it's 2 DMC threads over 1 fabric square. And this particular project, it's Fight Like a Girl because it's got all these female characters from some really popular children's books, like Alice in Wonderland and Hermione from Harry Potter. And then we've got Pippi Longstockings, and we've got some of the female characters from The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe series. And with those things in mind, I've actually got about 3 teams connected to this particular project. So I've got the Melbourne Demons who are connected to this project, and they've been going great guns in the AFL season. And the Melbourne Demons, their team colours are navy blue and a dark red. And so that's why this navy blue fabric kicks in. The other team that I have connected to this is Carlton Blues. They don't have any other team mascots or anything like that per se. It's just blue. So again, we've got a variety of blues in this project, and the other team the last team that's connected to this project is the Brisbane Lions. And in the pattern, it does have a lion in it because of the Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. So because the Melbourne Demons and the Brisbane Lions won both of their games over the last couple of weeks, I have put in 264 stitches into this project. Last night, Melbourne Demons won their game, and I need to put another 115 stitches into this. So it probably won't be until after this weekend that I'll get those stitches in, and wait and see how things go for the rest of the teams. Okay, the next project I have to share with you is a Bothy Threads project. So this is called Dictionary of Dogs, and this particular project is connected to the Western Bulldogs. And I have put, what have I put? 62 stitches into this project. I'm using all of the called for colours, everything that's come in the kit. I've also noticed the time for my recording, and I need to get a rig along because I've got about 5 minutes left. Okay, so the next project is Pisces. So this is one that I've just put together for myself, and I've attributed this particular project to a team called Port Adelaide Power. Their team colours are very much like this teal DMC colour, which is, I think it's 3808, or it's roughly that. So I'm doing 2/2, and I have put 146 stitches into this project so far, and it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out. I'm stitching this on 28 count linen. So the Bothy Threads Dictionary of Dogs is being stitched on 14 count Ada. This next project is called 12 Days of Christmas, and I've got two teams connected to this project. I have the Sydney Swans and the St Kilda Saints. Sydney Swans is a team that my boyfriend and I support, and with his project having swans in it, it's very much the reason why I've got this one attributed to them. And with this being very much a Christmas themed project, and saints being connected to religion, that's why I've got this project connected to St Kilda. And the bikers, actually, St Kilda and Sydney have been going great guns this season, and depending on how things go with the games and all the rest, the Saints and Swans are playing the last game of the season on Sunday evening. So fingers crossed, everything goes well and Swans win. And if they do, it means that they finish second overall in the regular season, and they'll be able to go into finals with a bit of a rest, and fingers crossed they make the grand final. So with this particular project, I have put 77 stitches into this project. The Saints did lose a couple of their games, so it balanced out quite well. And let's see, I've got 2 minutes left. I now have Dewdrop Daisy. So this particular project is connected to the Fremantle Dockers, and Fremantle have purple as their predominant colour in their team colours. And this particular project is a hot cross stitching design. It's based on a photo that I've taken of a flower in my garden at home in Canberra. And this project is also part of my 22 in 22. So 22,000 stitches for the year 2022. And this is as wide as the project is going to be. And I'm very much focusing over on this side just to get as much stitching done on that side as I can. And I'm getting pretty close to getting my 22,000 in, and I should have it done by the end of this calendar year. I am over 50% done on this project, so I'm just really chuffed with how this project is coming along. And let's see, the next project is one of my free patterns. This is the one that I was mentioning before, called I Count My Lucky Stars. So this is I Count My Lucky Stars. This is what I've done so far. And I'm using a variegated thread. I think it's called Water. It's part of a brand called Watercolors, Water Lilies, something like that. The thread color is called Tequila Sunrise. And I have about 30 seconds left of my recording right now. So I will sign off, and I hope to see you all again very soon. And I really do hope you enjoy stitching, and next fortnight I will see you all, and I'll have an update on what my plans will be for my stitching and all the rest once the AFL season is done. So thank you all so much for your time and bearing with me while I talk very fast, especially at the very end.